So the research committee is in fact a committee that was installed about a year ago. And it's actually a new initiative. And what is really interesting about this committee is that it actually tries to create a lot of new ideas and stimulation to promote research in musculoskeletal diseases. And this goes through a variety of ways. And for example, it provides small seeding funds for young investigators to come up with new ideas for proof of concept studies to actually lead to bigger type of funding elsewhere. So the type of seeding funds. It also promotes actually expert advice on study design in the broadest way. So a number of research questions, but with leading experts that can actually advise you on certain aspects related to research, which we call consultation service. And then we have actually more ambitious projects where we actually try to work on the field of epidemiology, clinical science, and basic and translational research science. So some of the initiatives have already started, especially in the field of epidemiology. There are some already really important aspects like an European patient-driven registry to actually have a better understanding on epidemiology of musculoskeletal diseases across Europe. Not only epidemiology, but also patient characteristics. And then there are some new initiatives that were started, like a European Trial Center initiative, which we call ENTRY, which eventually the idea is here to have a European-wide network of clinical trial centers, which is really something that is needed to bring actually new medicines or new treatment algorithms more easily to the patient. And then finally, we also have a new initiative in terms of tissue analysis, because there's the realization that there's a lot of new technologies, things like single-cell RNA sequencing, but other techniques as well that are emerging. And we feel this is really the momentum to consolidate this expertise, but also harmonize the use of these technologies in clinical research and clinical and translational research, but also eventually in intervention trials to bring this moving forward faster. And these are all initiatives that have been in this 1 year time kickoff started in this ERC. We have actually a number of initiatives that have already started off that are actually generating the data, like the patient registry, and then we have new initiatives that actually are actually approved already, and where we are taking our initial steps, like the trial center and the tissue initiative. But of course, what is really already implemented is these research vouchers, the consultation service, that's already all ongoing. Some of these projects, I think, is important to realize is we are aiming at a mid-term yield, so don't expect in 1 year time all these things will be solved, but we really see this as a long-term investment for capacity building in RMD research in Europe. The upcoming years is what I mentioned to you, is really trying to translate this and consolidate the expertise. And also what I really would like to highlight in the next year is what we'll try to do is to integrate this initiative across the different pillars. So we have a pillar of clinical research, we have a pillar of epidemiology and health service research, and then a pillar of basic and translational research. And what we aim to do is to create projects or a capacity across all these pillars to integrate that. Of course, in close partnership with all our partners within the EULAR, being not only the physicians, but also the patients and the health representatives. I think without EULAR, it would simply be impossible to establish this ERC. So EULAR has been a fantastic supporter of these initiatives, and this is something that we really do hand in hand with all the other committees within EULAR and the leadership. So I think the Congress event, as you see, is really an important event in terms of representation. I think it's networking, but also communication of the activities that we're doing. We have had already a lot of meetings, and what we will do is we will also have sessions, in fact, on what the ERC is, what the impact of the ERC may be on the future. So it's actually fully integrated with the entire program, in addition to our local committee meetings. But I think it's a very important event to meet new people, create awareness of the ERC, and as you will see, we have also sessions where we have one-on-one interaction with people that are interested. There's a lot of questions on this, so this I think is one of the big advantages of having this live event, which is of course quite distinct from the virtual events that we have been suffering a bit from the past 2 years. Well, there's a lot of new evolutions, and the rheumatology, I think in general, has been a rapidly evolving field, and this is also reflected through the different sessions. And what you have been seeing in the sessions that I have been able to attend so far are actually the emerging power of these new technologies in trying to understand the molecular basis of what drives diseases like rheumatoid arthritis and psoriatic arthritis, for example, to give you, and the similarities but also the differences. And some of these things is actually opening a box of Pandora, I would say. We have learned a lot of new things, but there's still a long way ahead to translate this into real clinical applications. I think that's actually the challenge for us as rheumatologists, to actually translate our findings into a meaningful application for our patient, being at the use as a predictor, being at the use as a therapeutic target. So I think the future is looking bright, but still a long way to move ahead.